Chicano is regarded by many Mexican Americans as a derogatory label. But lately it has come to me an activist in any of the hundreds of self-help groups now organizing throughout the Southwest. The movement has not coalesced. Some Chicanos are militant, others are not. This is the story of one town and the frustrations felt by some of its citizens who are part of the Chicano Revolution.
Con cabeza de marrano y entre la gente de Pharr tienen gringo mexicano.
The Pharr Riot of February 6, 1971 was really a product of the times. Pharr is a small town in the Rio Grande Valley, which is at the southernmost point of Texas on the border with Mexico. The majority of the population at the time was about 75% Chicano, Mexicano, and has really been the majority always and still is today.
And to put things in perspective, back then, politically, Mexican Americans in the 1960s were rarely involved, held very few political positions. Most of the political power lay in the hands of Anglos. Mayor Bowe was an older gentleman, and he had old perceptions, and he was an old-time boss, political boss, right? And so he took a lot of the protests personally. And I think that set the sights for that eventual confrontation.
And in 1971, Efrain Fernandez, a Vista volunteer, was in Pharr organizing the people. And along with Efrain Fernandez was also a local resident, Maria Magayan, who would bring in many women to organize and protest as well.
And there was one fellow in particular who I think is pretty much responsible for a lot of the violence in Pharr. And by that I mean it was typical for the police to go in and go to a bar or get somebody drunk and just beat them up.
So the context is that there was brutality. I mean, 2 kids were beaten up in jail. How often did that happen? Often.
The riot in Pharr was similar to the majority of riots in the United States, which really result as the escalation of racial tensions. This particular protest, Mayor Bowe decided he was going to tell them and show them who the boss was. And he was going to do that by putting an end to the protest.
We learned about the event via the news, radio news. I was at the time in Westlaco, as a matter of fact, which is about 15 miles away. And that's when we heard about it. And we rushed over to Pharr.
They started with the hose, the fire hose, and putting them very powerful water hoses and knocking them down with that, and then they started shooting.
So what we found essentially was a lot of litter on Main Street, on, I guess that was Highway 281, a lot of rocks, I mean, just tons of rocks and debris. So it was clear something had happened.
The boy that got killed, I really don't know. And this boy was killed, I say, 4 or 5 blocks from the police station.
Somebody told them about the riot. They went out there to see what was going on. His last words were, they had asked him to run because they were pointing a rifle at them. He said, no, we're not doing anything. And they turned around and he was on the floor. At the beginning they said it was just a rock injury, but it wasn't a rock injury at all. We found out later in the hospital that it wasn't a rock, it was a bullet. It's hard for me right now. It's been too many years. but it still hurts. Like it was yesterday. It's just the memories that come back. Because nobody's known how hard it's been for me. It took me 4.5 years to really, really realize that he was never coming back.
Beto Jaime actually lived in the housing projects, and he was elected mayor of Pharr. We're going like, we've done it, thank God. And he was, of course, pro-Mexicano.
We wanted to make sure that that history was told, and that this important pivotal event in Pharr's history, in which the first Mexican-American mayor was elected just months after this event, could be told to the younger generations that might not know that at one point, young Mexican-Americans had to fight for the right and the representation at all levels of government and power in the city of Pharr.
Okay? That world does not exist, but nothing prevents us from returning to a world that is similar to that, or becoming the kind of people that we fought against in that world.